I remember I started selling weed because I wanted to be the one-stop shop. Because I'm Asian, I turn everything into a business, okay? And then the grams turned into eighths, and the eighths turned into ounces. And when I was a kid, I had a vision board on my wall. And it was my dad's vision board. And it said, Jimmy Shin, attorney at law. I'm all for vision boards, but it has to be your vision board. You know what I mean? If it was Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech, it'd be like, my dad has a dream. But I would look at it and I'd be like, one of these days I'm gonna get to law school. And it worked, you know? But at the same time, my parents raised me in a convenience store. You know what kind of lowlives hang out at the convenience store? People like Prince hang out at the convenience store. You got the pimps, the prostitutes, the drug dealers, and those are just my friends. And I get into law school, right? And I don't know how. Well, I know how, because my dad would have kicked my ass if I didn't get in. I remember when I was a kid, if I didn't listen to my dad or get good grades, my dad would hit me with the love stick. Yeah, on it, it'd be like one side of it said love and the other side said discipline. So to my dad, love was discipline. But at the same time, he taught me Taekwondo. So it'd be like a kind of fucked up Karate Kid where he'd hit me and I would block it, wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. And he'd get so mad because I'd block all the hits, right? I think that's why I didn't learn any discipline, because I blocked them all because of the Taekwondo. And even in law school, man, I was selling like so much weed. It's mind-boggling to think back now. I was selling like 100 packs every few weeks. I mean, that's like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I didn't even blink an eye. And of course, one night, I get a knock on my door, and it was 7 DE agents with guns. The cookie had crumbled, if you will. And I remember going to jail. But that wasn't the worst part of it. The worst part of it was when my parents found out. And my dad calls me up. He goes, "You bring shame to family. Why you do this to us?" And I'm like, "Dad, it's the end times. Everybody's screwing up right now." While I was on probation, I remember I was in outpatient treatment. And for you guys that don't know what goes on in outpatient treatment, basically the patients in there teach you how to do it better. It's like jail, and how to beat the system. And also I would have to call every week to see if my color pops. That means if your color is selected, you'd have to go pee in front of the probation officer, for all you people that haven't been arrested. And so the guy in the outpatient, he goes, "Next time your color pops, dip your finger in chlorine and pee on it, and it'll come out clean." So I call one day, and it's my color. So I go in front of the PO. I dip my finger in chlorine before the appointment, and I'm peeing all over the place. Just to let you guys know, that doesn't work. I see a few people from Tacoma that are on probation that are thinking about trying that. And while I was playing this game with myself, I ended up overdosing at a strip club while I was getting a lap dance. Yeah, the stripper stripped me of my pills, stripped me of my money, stripped me of my dignity, and I woke up in the hospital with a tube down my throat and a tube down something else that really hurts. And I wake up in the hospital, didn't even know where I was, and the doctor comes and says, "I almost died choking on my own puke." But that wasn't the crazy part, you guys. The crazy part was 3 days later, I was out drinking and doing coke again. Again. And I didn't want to come down and face myself because I knew that I was suicidal or crazy, probably both. And I remember coming down off that high and saying the most sincere prayer I've ever said in my life. And that's, God, please help me. God, please help me. And I'm not gonna say I had a spiritual experience or anything, but something shifted. Because after that, while I was still on probation, I ended up finding stand-up comedy, you guys. Today I'm doing what I love for a living. I'm doing it with all my friends. And I'm living my best life. So the moral of the story, you guys, is sell drugs and all your dreams will come true. No, the moral of the story, the real moral, is I don't know what you guys are going through right now, okay? But don't lose hope, because the worst thing that ever happened to you could be the best thing that ever happened to you.